All right, we've got Katie Nyhart from Deer Creek. We don't have Mr. Bradshaw or Mr. Fleeman yet. We've got Abby Namia is here, and Cheyenne Woods is here, and Paige Kirsch is not here. Miss Nyhart, is Paige still there? I can't hear you.
This is what the landlord.
Abby, can you hear me? Welcome back, Miss Woods. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Miss Nemi, can you hear me? Miss Nyhart.
Hi, my name is Melissa. I'm a social worker working with Abby at the moment. We're just getting things set up. We'll be like 2 minutes.
All right, very good. Miss Nyhart, can you hear me? I can't hear you. You're on mute. And I used to be able to unmute it from my end. There you go. Can you hear me now? I'm going to remove you, have you start over. All right. It's not like this for Mr. Bradshaw or Mr. Fleeman to be this late.
Good mustache. Oh, I know it.
Here is Mr. Fleeman. Good afternoon, Mr. Fleeman.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good. We're a little backed up, but your 125 case, Paige Kirsch has not appeared.
Well, and Your Honor, we're sending in a dismissal on that 125 case. I just signed it 5 minutes ago, I think.
All right, well, let me call it. Katie couldn't get her sound turned on, so I asked her about it, and she, I still can't hear her.
Katie, can you hear us? Yeah, she can hear us, but I can't hear her.
Did she move or pay?
You know, Judge, I don't know. My secretary just brought me the dismissal, and I signed it. I'm not sure. Katie, did she move? You can shake your head.
Abby seems to know. So
Okay.
she didn't. So did she pay?
I'm guessing.
Not yet, no.
Well, I'm guessing she must have paid or got some commitment of some form.
All right, Abby, we'll talk to you here in a minute.
Oh,
But right now, we're going to talk to Cheyenne Woods. Let's see who this is. Good afternoon. I've got a phone number that ends in 8685. Who am I speaking with?
This is Katie. I'm calling in because I can't get my mic to work.
All right, I'm gonna mute. Well, you got a feedback loop. Why don't you go ahead and hang up the phone? All right.
Yeah, when you get two devices, it feeds back through the devices like that. So,
And it puts us into alternate universe. All right, well, let's talk about Miss Woods. She's been here for a long time. And this is file 22151457. It is a demand for non-payment of rent case. At the time of filing, rent was over $2,000. What's the current status, Mr. Fleeman?
Your Honor, I'm looking at a rent balance of $2,722.98, utilities of $218.49, court costs of $185.81 for a grand total of $3,127.28. And that would be through November. Obviously, December is right around the corner.
Rent is $722.
$2,722.
No, the rent per month.
Well, I think that's right. Cheyenne, is that not right?
All right, let's add 722 for December.
Okay. So that would mean
1,722.98 plus 722 equals 3,444.98 plus utilities
of $218.49.
plus court costs of 185.81.
Yes.
3,849.28. All right, Miss Woods, the allegation is that your rent is in arrears for several months, hasn't been paid since July. And it's currently 3,849 in arrears with utilities and court costs. The law requires that I adjourn this matter for 7 days. And we are required to do that. Is your plan to stay, or would you like to, do you plan to move?
I'd like to stay. I have made a payment to Katie for the 2,098 that was on the court paper.
So you paid $2,098?
I paid $2,000.98.
Okay.
When did you make that payment?
The 23rd.
Huh.
All right, well, let's just assume that's correct.
Oh, you know, my ledger was run on 11/23. So yeah, I would not have that. I would not have that payment yet. Was that a money order or a check?
It was a money order.
Money. Okay, good.
Very good. Well, next week is Monday, December 5th. And Mr. Fleeman, does that date work for you?
Well, good. I know I've got some stuff going on. That are you looking in the afternoon again? At like,
Yes.
could we do something later than 2 o'clock? I've got a 1 o'clock and a 1:30. Or
Yeah,
no,
how about-
I'm sorry, Judge. I'm telling you wrong. I've got a 2:15 on Monday, 12/5. So I could do like 1 o'clock.
Well, how about if we do a 1:40?
That would work. Yeah, because that gives me, well, a little more than a half hour, to get to my other one. So that'd be fine.
Have to drive to it or Zoom?
No, it's a Zoom. It's a Zoom at 2:15, so I'm good.
All right, we'll set it for next Monday at 140. Now, we have another Deer Creek, so let's see where we are with Miss Namie, because we're gonna,
And Your Honor, before we move on off of that, Miss Woods, let me do some math here. 3849.28 minus that 2,000. Oops. 3849.28 minus 2. So the balance you're going to have left, including December, is going to be $1,848.30. If you're able to get that paid before the 5th, then we'll just dismiss the case outright. But I wanted you to know what that balance was, so if you are able to do it, you know exactly what to pay.
now, if it isn't paid by December 5th, you get 10 more days, which would take you to December 15th to pay the rent and get caught up. So we aren't on the doorstep of catastrophe here, but we're going to adjourn 1 week, and then you get 10 more days from that day to pay it. But the fact that you made a substantial $2,000 payment shows good faith and the fact that you wish to stay there. All right. You're good to go.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'll see you next week. All right, we're a little behind, but not too much. We've got a 145 matter we're going to have to deal with here in a minute. But before we do that, let's deal with our 140 matter. Deer Creek versus Abby Namie. Abby is here with her social worker. Doing that. Did you say your name was Melissa?
Yes, Melissa Bosma.
What's the last name?
Bosma, Bosma.
And what agency are you with?
Bethany Christian Services.
I think I'm hearing New South Wales or something. I'm not sure what.
Yeah,
I'm gonna, should I turn that thing off?
Yeah, you can maybe. Yeah.
All right, the file number is 221457LT. Again, Mr. Tyrone Fleeman is here and Katie Neihart, the manager. Abby, you didn't hear me go through the rights. You may have heard me go through them before, but I'm going to do it again. As a defendant in a landlord-tenant proceeding, including non-payment of rent, you have the following legal rights. The right to obtain counsel for representation in this matter. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you. You have the right to a trial by a jury or by the court. If the action is for non-payment of rent and you're eligible for some assistance from any program, you do not need a judgment to receive assistance. The summons and complaint from the court case are sufficient. If the plaintiff is agreeable, the Citizens Mediation Services, Inc. may be available as a possible source of case resolution. If both parties are agreeable to mediation, the court can help set that up. If you do reach an agreement with the plaintiff and a consent judgment is entered by the court, you would waive the rights listed above and have the following additional rights. The judgment may not be enforced until 3 business days have passed. If you did move to set aside the judgment, it would be set for a hearing. However, if the judge does not find in your favor, the original judgment would stand. All right, and let's talk about this. This is a demand for non-payment of rent. Rent is $364. It hasn't been paid allegedly since March, and the arrearage is north of $2,500. Mr. Fleeman, what's the current status?
Your Honor, this is one of these situations where she got a SARA payment back in August, but by the time that payment finally made its way to the landlord, she was still $1,655 behind as of right then. Fast forwarding through November, I'm showing a rent balance of $2,772 even, court cost of $185.81 for a total amount of $2,957.81. I did not add December to that, but certainly
Let's
can.
add that in, 2772 plus 364.
Yep. And that would be $3,136
Plus 185.
plus
51.
180 gives us a total of $3,321.81.
So I've only got half of that.
All right, Abby, let's talk about that. The SERA funding was running out after June, and some last money trickled in. What we had told you before was paying the entire amount will cure the arrearage. Your
Yes,
rent is quite low, 364, but you've been unable to pay that, and SERA paid some of it. And I don't know if Bethany will help you, but the law says we have to adjourn this 7 days. Again, that will take us to next Tuesday, December 5th. What's your plan?
I plan to stay. I'm supposed to receive my tax return by the 8th. I have help from a couple agencies for half of the balance, and I plan to pay the other half myself.
All right, well, that is a plan. Tax return by December 8th?
That's what they say, the IRS. I hope it is.
All right, well, at some point, the money, we're having to get used to people having to pay their own rent. There was a white knight in the form of the SERA program that helped people get caught up, and that money's all dried up. But we're going to adjourn this for 7 days, which will take us to December 5th. Then you have 10 more days from that day, which take you to December 8th. So between you, your tax refund, the agencies that are helping you, hopefully you can pay this and get current to start the new year. But your rent through December is $3,136. Court costs are $185.81. So the total to catch all of your rent up through December is $3,321.51. We're going to adjourn this to, we're going to be awful busy at this little juncture, but to December 5th, 2022 at 1:45. I have 2 cases set at the same time. So let me repeat. We're going to adjourn this for a week. It'll be by Zoom like this once again. Then if they get what they ask for, you would have 10 days from that day to pay it. So hopefully between your fundings, who else is helping besides Bethany Christian?
DHS.
Also Keystone, Bethany Christian Services, and Salvation Army.
Oh,
Is DHS saying they need anything more than just the pleadings, or are they accepting the summons and complaint to get her application going?
I
That's a
believe
good
this is
question.
someone.
what?
Good.
Because the Supreme Court says the summons and complaint are sufficient. Some of the agencies, including DHS, said, no, we need an actual judgment. So we read that every week, and other people disagree with it, and some of the district judges have raised concerns about that. But at any rate, Ms. Namia, it sounds like you're going to be all right. But let's address this further next Monday at 1:45, okay?
So do I need the money by then?
Abby just asked if you need the money by then.
No, you're going to need the money by December 15th, or you're subject to being evicted.
Yeah.
So the sooner the better.
Yes.
Then January 1, perhaps you can start at 0, and 364 is about as low a rent as you're going to find. hopefully you can get squared away and get on your feet. All right, Miss Namia, I'll see you next Monday, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Melissa.
And Judge, I believe that's all you have for me this afternoon.
Yes, you probably got to be somewhere else.
Yeah, I will see you next Monday.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Katie. Always good to hear from you.
We can see you.
That's right.
All right, Ms. Dixit, will you join us?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
It is 2:30. Let me go ahead and call this case. This is entitled Washburn Lake Village Mobile Home Community versus Luis Rodriguez Lara and Janice Utrera. Sarah Reed from the Payless Law Firm drew the short straw and had to come to Centerville this afternoon. Last week we had Ms. Saperstein. The defendants failed to appear. This was filed as a demand for non-payment of rent. We made a calculation as to the rent arrearage, but now we're going to be into December. The defendants aren't here. They were, I think we figured out, served by attachment. And this is lot rent only. Ms. Reed, what can you tell us at this point?
Thank you, Your Honor. It is my understanding, my notes from Ms. Saperstein, that you were questioning that. And it's my understanding that the defendants own that home. So the only rent that was being charged was the lot rent. And I don't know if there's a lien on the home or if they have that paid in full, but the title to that home is in their name.
What's the current arrearage?
The current arrearage, exclusive of court costs, is $14.85 even.
Is that through December?
It is not. I can add in that.
Yeah, let's add in December.
Okay. All right. So that's some easy math. Would be 1860. I'm sorry, 1,860 even.
All right, what do we have for court costs?
Your Honor, I show 185.45. So that should be a total amount of 2,045.45.
All right, I find by default that the defendants are subject to issuance of this order. But we're going to need a mobile home judgment because they're going to have 10 days to pay the rent and 90 days to move or sell a mobile home.
Okay. I can do that, Your Honor. It was my understanding that they just would have that 90 days if it was a just cause termination. But if you
Well,
prefer,
that's a question that has come up at judge conferences, and people were coming down on different sides of the question. It's not filed as a just cause, but I don't believe they get just 10 days to move them on. They're not evicted from their own home. And then, so we've been using, if you send a traditional judgment, I will write in, defendant has 90 days to move or sell a mobile home.
okay, I can send in the normal, I shouldn't call it normal, but the just cause judgment.
All right. You appear all over the state. One of the preeminent landlord tenant judges is Judge Canole in Ottawa County. And there was another judge, Brent, who was the acknowledged expert in landlord tenant matters. And we had a seminar once of district judges when I first started, and he would present some questions. Here's the scenario, how do you rule? And you'd ask 4 judges, you get 4 different rulings on the same set of facts. So all I do is I try to do it the same way every time. So other judges may disagree, but this question came up, and the consensus was that they would have 90 days to move or sell a mobile home. even if it was not a just cause termination. So that'll make it more clear, but if you don't, I'll just write it in there.
That's fine. I'll make it easier on you and send in the just cause judgment.
All right, thank you. All right, I'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, wait a minute, is this them? Is
I-
this Janice and Luis? Oops, I unmuted them. Can you unmute your microphone? Samsung, could you unmute your mic?
This is the Clemens.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Clemens, I'll be with you in a bit. All right, Ms. Reed, you're good to go.
Okay, thank you very much.